In the summer of 2019, a 16-year-old in Kansas posted a 15-second video of herself lip-syncing to a little-known pop song. She had no professional team, no label deal, no radio promotion, yet within 48 hours, her clip had gone viral, accumulating more than 1 million views. What once required industry gatekeepers now happened almost instantaneously, driven by an algorithm selecting which content to promote. This is the promise and the risk of TikTok. Fame generated by AI, bypassing the old entertainment infrastructure. Over the next hour, you will explore how a Chinese startup transformed what it means to become a star, how the algorithm builds virality and tears it down, and how new artists navigate the emotional and business cost of algorithm-driven fame. Stay tuned. By the end, you'll hear a fact that could change the way you think about every song on your feed. TikTok's story begins in September 2016, when ByteDance launched Douyin in China. In just months, the app gained tens of millions of users thanks to its simple yet addictive formula: short, looping videos combined with music snippets. By 2017, ByteDance introduced a global version named TikTok. In August 2018, ByteDance acquired Musical.ly, an app popular in the US among teenagers who performed lip syncs, and merged it with TikTok. This merger unified large user bases and transformed TikTok into a global phenomenon. At first, TikTok was all about lip syncing, comedy, and visual tricks, but very quickly, music took center stage. Creators realized that pairing a track with trending sounds could drive mass engagement. One famous example is K-Camp's Lottery, which climbed in popularity largely because of the Renegade Dance, a viral choreography created by young TikTok users. This trend was not driven by radio or traditional promotion, but by community-driven video creation, and it forced the wider music industry to take notice. Shortly afterwards, Lil Nas X's Old Town Road became emblematic of a new paradigm. The song was initially shared independently, without a major label push. Its snippet was repurposed in countless TikToks, dance challenges, memes, comedy sketches, and soon rocketed onto the Billboard Hot 100. While headlines declared a record-breaking run at #1, it became clear that TikTok's algorithm, not radio programmers, was increasingly deciding which songs would dominate. Behind this transformation lay TikTok's recommendation engine. The For You page uses machine learning to evaluate watch time, replay rate, shares, comments, and other engagement signals. Videos that trigger strong viewer reaction are boosted, and the music attached to those videos benefits as well. But this new fame came with a cost. Teen creators were suddenly negotiating brand deals, dealing with cyberbullying and managing public exposure, all without guidance, legal protection, or experience. For many, it felt like a Wild West where the only map was their screen. By late 2018, TikTok reportedly had more than 500 million global users. That rapid growth marked a turning point. A new type of music star, born purely from short-form video, was emerging, and the old gatekeepers no longer held all the power. By early 2019, TikTok had firmly established itself as a global cultural force. Its algorithm-driven content system meant that creators anywhere could go viral, regardless of subscriber count. Unlike platforms where visible popularity often depends on follower numbers, TikTok rewarded engagement and performance. A video from someone with few followers could easily reach millions, if the algorithm picked up the momentum. This dynamic fundamentally changed what fame meant. It became instantaneous and democratized, but also unstable. Lil Nas X became the defining example of this shift. When he released the first clips of Old Town Road, the song had minimal backing. Much of its early spread came through TikTok users who transformed the snippet into dances, memes, and comedic videos. Within weeks, it became a major audio trend. Within months, it had dominated the Billboard charts. Many industry insiders saw this as proof that TikTok was no longer just a discovery platform. It was now shaping mainstream music. But it wasn't just Lil Nas X. Many other artists followed similar paths. Songs like Roxanne by Arizona Zervis, Say So by Doja Cat, Dance Monkey by Tones and I, and Super Lonely by Benee gained massive exposure through TikTok's viral loops. These tracks had either limited initial backing or existed in niche circles, yet on TikTok they found global reach. At the same time, TikTok created a brand new class of celebrity creators who became famous not because they toured or released polished albums, but because their short videos resonated with millions. Addison Rae went from performing dance clips in her bedroom to becoming one of TikTok's most recognizable faces. Charli D'Amelio, who started by sharing daily choreography, became the most followed person on the app. Bella Poarch turned a viral lip sync into chart success with her 2021 single, Build a Bitch. Their fame wasn't built by traditional industry machines. It was algorithmically surfaced. TikTok's recommendation system evaluated several metrics: rewatch time, comment response speed, ratio of likes to shares, how quickly a sound was reused, and viewer retention in the first few seconds. That meant their rise was not random, but mathematically calculated. Yet algorithmic fame also brought a new kind of volatility. Teen creators suddenly carried visibility far beyond their control. Millions of followers, constant scrutiny, and pressure to maintain relevance. Psychologists began speaking about algorithmic anxiety, the stress of being constantly evaluated by a system that can raise your visibility one moment and bury you the next. Many creators reported burnout, obsessively monitoring analytics, fearing that if they stopped posting, they would vanish from the For You page. Parents and educators, unfamiliar with this new kind of stardom, struggled to provide guidance. This wasn't the old Hollywood fame. It was a digital fame crafted by AI, with little emotional infrastructure to support it. By the end of 2019, record labels were responding. A&R teams started meeting with a new lens, analyzing TikTok trends, listening for sounds that could break in 15-second loops, and scouting creators not from club gigs but from For You page performance. Producers began crafting short intros for songs to maximize engagement. Mix engineers would master previews specifically for TikTok. Marketing dollars shifted from radio and Instagram to collaborations with TikTok influencers. The music industry was no longer shaping TikTok. TikTok was shaping the music industry. TikTok's explosion was not limited to sound. It created entire cultural ecosystems. The Renegade Dance Challenge, originally choreographed by a teenager, swept the world, performed by celebrities, school teams, and fans everywhere. Aesthetics like Visco Girl, E-Boy, and Cottagecore all found a home on TikTok, influencing fashion across demographics. Editing styles, comedy formats, meme language, they all became standardized globally as TikTok culture spread. For the first time, very young creators were not only shaping what music trended, they were shaping global culture itself. But not everyone who went viral lasted. The algorithm rewarded novelty and high engagement, which meant creators had to maintain a relentless pace. Many posted daily, sometimes multiple times a day, just to stay visible. Those unable to sustain that pace saw their reach collapse almost as quickly as it had grown. Some analysts warned that TikTok fame was like a sprint, short, intense, and exhausting. By the end of 2020, millions of users had experienced viral attention, but many of those early viral stars had already begun to fade. TikTok rewired the concept of fame: instant, algorithmic, unfiltered, contingent. It set the stage for the next chapter of music, one where virality is the currency and the algorithm is king. By 2020, TikTok had evolved far beyond being just a dance app. It had become a powerful engine in the music industry. Its recommendation algorithm analyzed a wide range of user behavior, watch time, shares, likes, and engagement patterns to decide which videos to amplify. In this ecosystem, creators weren't just uploading content. They were participating in an AI-driven system that could determine their reach, success, and sometimes even their future. Major record labels recognized this shift. Industry giants such as Universal, Sony, and Warner began establishing teams specifically focused on TikTok. These divisions monitored trending creators, identified viral potential, and built contracts around platform performance. By 2021, some new artists signed deals that referenced TikTok metrics: how often they needed to post, how much engagement they should generate, and what kind of content they should create. Some insiders called this phase Algorithmic ANR. A striking example is Megan Thee Stallion. While her breakthrough began long before TikTok, her track, Savage, became a global phenomenon in part due to a dance challenge on the app. The virality helped her negotiate better deals and reach a wider audience. Her team later acknowledged that TikTok substantially boosted her power in the industry. Yet this new fame model came with a steep price. Young creators often found themselves trapped in a relentless production cycle: daily uploads, trend chasing, and constant audience interaction. Some described it as emotionally exhausting and creatively draining. Social media researchers noted that in this world, the algorithm rewards activity above well-being, creating pressure that many weren't prepared to handle. At the same time, viral fame magnified public scrutiny. Creators who went from obscurity to millions of followers saw their past social media posts, personal relationships, and private struggles brought into the spotlight. The rapid ascent came with unprecedented exposure, but also vulnerability. Record labels leaned into this dynamic too. They began knowingly designing music for TikTok. Short hooks, instantly catchy intros, and beats optimized for 15 to 30-second loops. Artists now had to balance their own creative vision with the algorithm's demands. Some media outlets reported that producers were prioritizing TikTok virality over radio play or traditional album structure. But despite the drawbacks, there was real opportunity. Independent artists like Powfu, whose song Deathbed, Coffee for Your Head, became a TikTok hit, demonstrated that success no longer required a major label. TikTok gave artists an unfiltered path to discovery. Still, maintaining relevance was hard. The algorithm's appetite for novelty meant many viral acts found it difficult to sustain long-term careers. The same system that elevated them could also render them invisible. Beyond the artists themselves, the costs spread to families, friends, and collaborators. Creators shared stories of juggling school, relationships, and parental concerns alongside relentless online demands. Some executives reflected publicly that managing a viral star was like raising a child in a digital gold rush, and the ground kept shifting beneath them. By 2022, the music industry had begun to fully adapt. AI was not just a tool but a partner in building careers. But questions lingered. Who truly benefits from this model? And at what cost do we build stars in the age of algorithmic fame? By 2022, many creators who had burst onto TikTok found themselves confronting a harsh reality. Viral fame did not guarantee longevity, and the speed of the spotlight often came with emotional consequences. One frequently cited figure is Olivia Rodrigo. Her debut album Sour in 2021 was deeply embraced by TikTok communities. Fans made TikToks of lyrics, memes, and emotional videos. But as her fame grew, the demands only intensified. Interviews, tours, and constant content creation. In one interview, she described feeling as though she was on a treadmill that never stops. A powerful illustration of how digital success can feel like a relentless race. Mental health issues became more visible. Some creators reported anxiety, insomnia, and burnout. Researchers and psychologists began to highlight what they referred to as platform fatigue, the strain of being always visible to an algorithm that demands consistent performance. In the TikTok economy, the algorithm often rewards quantity and engagement over pause or personal recovery. The controversies also grew sharper. Some creators faced intense scrutiny for past content, personal relationships, or corporate partnerships. When Addison Rae, for instance, navigated brand deals and public statements, the backlash underscored how algorithmic fame brings not just exposure, but accountability, sometimes in disproportionate ways. Yet, amid the pressure, a number of creators found ways to reinvent themselves. Charli D'Amelio, for example, expanded beyond dance videos into music, fashion, and philanthropy. She seemed to consciously shape her brand in ways that balanced her personal values with an understanding of TikTok's demands. Meanwhile, record labels began investing more intentionally in artist well-being. Some introduced mental health resources, content planning departments, and analytics teams to manage the complex demands of viral creators. But critics argued that business still often prioritized growth over genuine care. A report suggested the system was slow to evolve. Although the demand for revenue was obvious, the emotional infrastructure was not. Public discourse around the ethics of TikTok fame also intensified. Documentaries, analysis pieces, and think pieces questioned whether the platform's pace was sustainable, highlighting exploitation, homogenization of content, and the blurring of personal boundaries. Campaigns for digital wellness, responsible content creation, and better support for creators emerged, putting pressure on platforms and labels to do better. Still, many creators persisted. Learning from burnout, some diversified their income, launching merch, working on longer-form projects, or branching into traditional music channels. Others leaned into direct fan engagement, creating content for community rather than purely for viral metrics. These strategies marked a shift. The next generation of creators understood that succeeding in the TikTok era would demand not just visibility, but resilience and autonomy. This phase of digital fame highlighted a crucial truth. TikTok's algorithm could deliver massive exposure rapidly, but long-term survival required more than just going viral. Emotional health, creative integrity, and strategic thinking became just as important as engagement metrics. By 2024, the impact of TikTok's algorithm-driven fame was undeniable, not only for individual artists, but for the structure of the music industry, the habits of listeners, and the very way culture moves. One of the most significant changes was the democratization of fame. Where once making it in the music world required label contracts, radio play, and long tours, TikTok enabled almost anyone with a phone and a sound to be heard. Bedroom recordings, once a niche, now serve as global breakout hits. For example, artists like PinkPantheress used the platform to transform intimate, lo-fi songs into charting successes. Her track, Pain, illustrates how snippets and loops powered by community engagement can launch careers. TikTok's viral dynamics also reshaped how songs are consumed. Streaming services increasingly reflect trends born on the app. Playlists are curated not just by human editors, but by data informed by TikTok activity. As some media outlets have noted, TikTok now functions both as talent incubator and market predictor, with labels watching its trends in real time to make signing and promotion decisions. This shift also influenced how songs are written and produced. Many modern tracks are designed with TikTok in mind. Shorter intros, catchy hooks, and emotional moments that loop well. The focus in the studio is no longer just the full album, but the 10 or 15-second clip that could trend. Beyond music, TikTok has reshaped broader culture. Aesthetics and subcultures, dance challenges, meme lyrics, visual trends, spread rapidly across borders. TikTok native styles influence fashion, language, and identity among Gen Z. The platform now acts as a crucible for microcultures, turning individual creators into cultural trendsetters. At the same time, the industry is experimenting with more sustainable models of fame. Companies are investing in mental health programs, longer-term career planning, and algorithmic literacy for both creators and listeners. But this evolution raises critical questions. How much power should algorithms have over art? Can creativity remain authentic when it's designed for virality? Some artists are already challenging the system. They are collaborating with fans, remixing their own viral hits, and building careers that do not rely solely on TikTok. Their strategies suggest a future where algorithmic fame and artistic freedom can coexist, not just for survival, but for lasting impact. The broader lesson of TikTok's algorithmic revolution is clear. Fame is no longer granted. It's calculated. The algorithm dictates reach, but the human heart determines value. As the music world continues to adapt, one question remains. Will we build an industry that simply rewards virality, or one that sustains artists? In this new age of AI-driven fame, perhaps the greatest challenge is not to go viral, but to be remembered. Subscribe and hit the bell. New music documentary every Tuesday and Thursday. Watch the following documentaries on our channel.